Universalist congregation in Stuart, Florida. Today is July 24th, 2022. My name is Janet Grote, and I'll be your worship associate today. We are a welcoming congregation. We welcome people of all genders, identities, ethnicities, ages, and backgrounds. It's wonderful to see our vaccinated members in the sanctuary. We're on YouTube too. Hi, YouTubers. To be put on our email list or to find out more information about us, go to our website, tcuuc.org. Note the email link to request an online newsletter. Everybody remember to tell their phones to shut up? Oh, yes, I see some new faces here. Our visitors, if you are comfortable, can you step up to the mic over here, right here, and introduce yourselves? Right.
Good morning. My wife Linda and I are here. I'm Howard Prentice, and my wife is Linda Prentice, and we're visiting from Boca Raton with our son, he's over with some friends in Port St. Lucie for the weekend, and very happy to be here. Really love this church. Thank you.
Ah, wonderful. Zoom, current events. The discussion will resume on Friday, August 12th. Remember to join us the first and third Tuesdays at the Stuart Veterans Memorial Park downtown for our brown bag lunch. Sunday, August 7th at 3 p.m., let's see Much Ado About Nothing at the Act Studio Theater on Ocean Boulevard in Stuart. The cast members, our own Joe Darcanero, see the newsletter for details. The office will be staffed on a volunteer basis through August 10th. The memorial plaque has arrived, and it's going to be installed in the narthex with a little help from my friends after the service today. It is a perpetual plaque. It has spaces for 48 names. Long live TC, UUC. Oh, I see Tia. Good to have you back. Members' cremains may be placed on our sacred grounds. Long live our memories of our dear friends. Now we have a regular scheduled meal day preparation, which will be the second Friday of each month, when we will cook a meal for 70 homeless residents. Pat Tosney is coordinating this. The Zoom Book Club will begin talking about our next book, Under a White Sky, The Nature of the Future. It's Wednesdays. It'll be coming up Wednesday, the 27th. Contact John Moore. As you know, we lost our new member, Pat Malone. His celebration of life will be July 29th, I believe, 3 to 5 at the Sea Winds Funeral Home. Reverend Bob is leading the service. I have an obituary out near the greeting table. We'll tell you more about Pat that we didn't get to learn in the short time he was with us. Sea Winds, yeah.
It's on Monterey and US.
I believe so, yeah. I was rather hasty putting this together, so do check both the obituary and our newsletter. A big thanks for those who helped with the service. Jackie Robbins for our music, our greeters, and our usher is going to be Ronnie. And we had Judy Bajoris is in the kitchen giving us food and coffee on the front porch today. Reverend Carole Yorke will be in our pulpit today. She has served several churches in Florida since 1998, including right here at TCUUC. She is a member of the UU Fellowship of Vero Beach, where she preaches occasionally and has led bereavement groups. She lives in Port St. Lucie with her 2 Pomeranians. Now we'll have our prelude music.
One, two, three.
Wow, Jackie, thank you. We are now going to light our candle. I attempted, with Jackie's help, we worked real hard to try to change the wick. We couldn't do it. So if you're wondering why the chalice is on the floor, that's why. Fire consumes and casts a bright light. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past, our fears for the future, and our worries about today. May it light for us a path of joy and peace. Opening words are going to be a bit different today. This is from UUA's Spirit and Practice. One day, a religious man approached a mystic and asked, "Does God exist?" "Allow me to go in for an answer," the mystic replied. After meditating for quite some time, expanding her heart consciousness to embrace the totality of existence. She answered, I do not know what you mean by the word God, but I do know that this world is more mysterious and more wonderful than I could ever imagine. I know that you and I are a part of something so much larger than our own lives. Perhaps this something larger is what you seek. Then the religious man approached a scientist. Does God exist? He asked. Let me think, the scientist replied. And so she thought. She thought about the vastness of the universe, 156 billion light years, or something like 936 billion trillion miles in diameter, and almost the immeasurable smallness of a quark. She thought about how the energy of the Big Bang fuels the beating of her own heart. And then she answered, I do not know what you mean by the word God, but I do know that this world is more mysterious and more wonderful than I could ever imagine. I know that you and I are part of something so much larger than our lives. Perhaps this something larger is what you seek. The religious man then thought to himself. He thought of what he knows and what he does not know. He thought about how he knows what he knows and how he knows he doesn't know what he doesn't know. He thought about his experience of the world and how this but one tiny fraction of all experience. He thought about his dependence on the forces larger than himself and thought about the interdependence of all existence. He experienced wonder and pondered mystery, and then he knew in his soul the truth of what the mystic and the scientist said, that he is part of something so much larger than his own life. And then, only then, did he think about what he'd call it. Going to do our first hymn. Stand, if you'd like. We're going to sing through our Mass. This is hymn number 18, What Wondrous Love. Now for our affirmation. Let us recite our affirmation, speaking the first verse and singing the second through our mask. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Now, let's share our joys and sorrows. Please step up to the microphone to speak. Tell us your name first, and we'll move a stone in our symbolic river of life to mark each joy and sorrow. Try to keep it brief and personal. Here comes Tia. Oh, Tia.
Hi, I'm Tia Breeding, and it's my great joy to be back with all of you again after 3 months of being sick. So it was COPD, a big flare-up, and so I'm on the road to recovery. Not totally there yet, but it's a joy to see you all, and thanks for all your thoughts and wishes.
Tia, we're so happy to have you back. Judy?
I'm Judy Bajoris, and my thoughts this morning are with Judy Cialone, and what she's okay. She's just not here today. She's not feeling quite well, but we all need to send a lot of loving thoughts her way as she deals with the challenge of helping her husband Phil through a difficult time. So this is for my friend Judy.
Carolyn?
Hi, I have a great joy. My husband has 7 brothers and sisters, and we are leaving on Wednesday to go up to Virginia to spend a week with his brothers and sisters and all our nieces and nephews and my great-granddaughter, and it's really going to be fun. But there's a little sadness in that we're celebrating the life of my father-in-law who passed away in February. Not this February, last February. But we haven't been able to get together until now. And so we're going to be celebrating his life while we're up there.
Hi, I'm Karina. I have been doing a public art program in Stewart, and we are installing some public art next week. A mosaic that's going in the sidewalk on Colorado Ave, a new one. And we are celebrating that on Saturday at 3 p.m. at Urban Botanicals and Spirit Well Sensory Lounge, which is the little place that used to be the Notes Music Bar. So if anybody wants to, I know I'm getting away with making an announcement, but I do this very seldomly. So thank you. It's going to be right outside Urban Botanicals, which is on the kind of like the north side of Colorado Ave.
Monterey is closed.
Monterey, yeah.
So this is what?
By next
Okay, it's very close to US 1.
It's close to the
It's-
shoe store, Noble Shoe Store.
It's right across from Seacoast.
Wonderful. We love Karina's art.
It's not my art. Somebody else.
Oh, well, we love her guidance.
My name is Ronnie Dembowski, and I'm up here because last week I was worship associate and wished my husband a happy birthday, which was last Sunday, but he didn't feel inclined to come today to wish me a happy birthday. My birthday is July 27th, which is in 2 days, so I'm wishing myself a happy birthday.
We wish you a happy birthday, Ronnie. And Ronnie, stay there for the stone. We're moving a stone for those whose joys and sorrows are too private to share. Our hearts are with you. And now, here is Reverend Carole Yorke.
Good morning. Today's reading is by the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker, who was the former president of Star King School for the Ministry, who is now a retired theologian. I think she's still in New York City. She's a wonderful speaker, a wonderful thinker, and she writes poetry, and this is by Rebecca Parker, called In the Midst of a World. In the midst of a world marked by tragedy and beauty, there must be those who bear witness against unnecessary destruction, and who, with faith, rise and lead in freedom, with grace and power. There must be those who speak honestly and do not avoid seeing what must be seen of sorrow and outrage, of tenderness and wonder. There must be those whose grief troubles the water while their voices sing and speak refreshed worlds. There must be those whose exuberance rises with lovely energy that articulates earth's joys. There must be those who are restless for respectful and loving companionship among human beings, whose presence invites people to be themselves without fear. There must be those who gather with the congregation of remembrance and compassion, draw water from old wells, and walk the simple path of love for neighbor. And there must be communities of people who seek to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God, who call on the strength of soul force to heal, to transform, and bless life. There must be religious witness. Let us join together in silence for a moment with your thoughts, with your prayers. Let us be silent together. Amen. Blessed be.
This is in remembrance of Pat, who we didn't get to know very well, but he was a good old daddy boy.
Pat Malone, we miss him. Thank you, Jackie.
You're welcome. I thought that was going to be during the gift.
We're going to do Spirit of Life, hum one time through and then sing. Now, it's time for the offertory. Your support and the free and generous support of each and every member and friend of this community is what fuels this community and its mission. Without your support, the flame of justice, community, and love cannot burn brightly to warm ourselves, to be a beacon in the world threatened by division and fear. Now we'll have music. We thank you for your pledges and your donations. Now, here's Reverend Carole.
In the weeks since the Supreme Court's decision in a Mississippi law that bans abortion after 15 weeks, with some health-related exceptions, but none for rape or incest, the slogan, "We won't go back," was revived. It's been chanted at marches and rallies, but somewhat awkwardly, because this is plainly an era of repression and regression, in which abortion rights are not the only rights disappearing. Listen to the headlines from the last couple of weeks. I kept reading them and writing them down. Most of these are from the New York Times, Washington Post, The Atlantic. This is just a representative sample. After new abortion laws, some patients have trouble obtaining miscarriage treatment because the procedures and the meds are identical to treatment for abortion. To get banned abortion pills, patients turn to legally risky tactics, going overseas, mail order. Why is the right, capital R, making women who miscarry suffer? What pregnancy and childbirth do to the bodies of young girls? Five, women denied abortion rarely choose adoption. And this is from an article from the Washington Post. If one were to invent a regime in which pregnant women were economically, emotionally, and physically abused in ways no man would ever tolerate, you would be hard-pressed to come up with a better example than Texas. So if any of you were thinking about moving to Texas, don't. It's what happens when women are not treated as full citizens, able to make decisions for themselves. That's from the Washington Post. In Georgia, Governor Kemp has been quoted as saying, "Women can choose pregnancy or jail." And the last one for our purposes here, anti-gay rhetoric and calls to roll back LGBTQ rights have grown bolder among Republicans since Roe v. Wade was overturned. That's all I could stomach to write down. Just day after day, there's something else. And we're supposed to fight back and heal this world? Can we do anything besides signing every darn petition that comes into your emails, even those that are so frustratingly repetitive? How many times do you have to ask me if I'm a Democrat? How many times do you have to ask me if I voted for Biden in the last election? How many times? I just now have to delete. Why does it matter that women's reproductive choices be protected? Because we live in a broken world where life is at risk in many ways. The power to choose is the power of life in the midst of brokenness. Without choice, tragedy, impasse, and despair are the last words. With choice, creativity, responsibility, and possibility enter the conversation. With choice, human beings enter into fuller personhood, becoming creative agents in the world who can transform life in the direction of greater justice, safety, and joy. A society in which human beings accept that life and death are in their hands, more or less, is a better society. Embracing creativity and responsibility is a spiritual value that applies beyond the questions of pregnancy and childbirth. To know that we have choice is to know that life is not predetermined, that we do not simply have to comply with established structures, rote patterns, or the dictates of despair. It is to know that we are not helpless in the face of overwhelming events. We all need the spiritual knowledge that life and death are in our hands, and we all need to do the hard work of ethical discernment, of accepting that life and death are ours to choose. Why should we march to keep abortion safe and legal? Because where there is choice, there is life. Where there is life, there is hope. Where there is hope, we find ourselves holding bundles of joy in our arms. Well, not so much for most of us here anymore. Each of us bear in our own bodies the powers of holding on and of letting go. Rebecca Parker, again. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of the hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, waiting. Any of these can serve to feed the hungry, bind up wounds, welcome the stranger, praise what is sacred, do the work of justice, or offer love. Any of these can draw down the prison door, hoard bread, abandon the poor, obscure what is holy, comply with injustice, or withhold love. You must answer this question. What will you do with your gifts? Choose to bless the world. Many of us have spent the last months thinking about politics, even if you don't want to. The Supreme Court, abortion, the blasting away at democracy, about the widespread access to guns. My heart is broken over and over as the horrible story of the 10-year-old girl who needed an abortion and the political ramifications of what happened after that to her, her family, and the doctor in a different state. What are we to do? Do we despise people and hate this world? Do we sneer at our neighbors who dance and have drinks on their patios as if nothing bad were happening? No. We don't sneer at our neighbors. In fact, we join them on the patio for drinks. There is ugliness and beauty in the world, but it has always been this way. Back to Rebecca Parker's poem. It's in sections. The choice to bless the world can take you into solitude, to search for the sources of power and grace, native wisdom, healing, and liberation. More, the choice will draw you into community, the endeavor shared, the heritage passed on, the companionship of struggle, the importance of keeping faith, the life of ritual and praise, the comfort of human friendship, the company of earth, the chorus of life welcoming you. None of us alone can save the world. Together, that is another possibility waiting. I know that you choose to bless the world here in this congregation. We ask as a community how to do that. We ask that question over and over again. We choose to bless you choose to bless the world with a heritage passed on. You teach our history, the wisdom and bravery of our forebears, the justice that they accomplished. We live rituals and praise. Those rituals help us save the world. We light the chalice when it works. We sing together. We bid one another goodbye when the time comes. We've lost people here who are very dear to us. We gather in community so that our grief can be shared, so that our memories can be shared as well, so that we can tell stories together. We remind one another that love does not die with death. We keep loving the people we loved, even though they are physically gone. We gather to fight the powers of injustice. It's a good thing we gather to do this, since one voice raised for gun safety, for women's control over our own bodies, is not heard the same way a gathered voice is heard. And I've just lost a page. 1 second. I think it's just hiding. Back to Parker. The choice to bless the world is more than an act of will, a moving forward into the world with the intention to do good. It's an act of recognition, a confession of surprise, a grateful acknowledgement that in the midst of a broken world, unspeakable beauty, grace, and mystery abide. There is an embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even yours. We've all had experiences of the embrace of kindness. I'm hoping that we can practice kindness as energetically as we practice being right about grammar, history, and politics. We are so right. It's fun to be right. It's kind of the mark of a UU. We are right. Let's see if we can feel the embrace of kindness that encompasses all life, even ours. But that kindness is for all beings, and it demands a guardian attitude, sometimes a witnessing to what is right, a standing with those who are wronged, a benevolent rage. I wonder if the anger that I've been feeling is benevolent. Parker again. And while there is injustice or evil, there moves a holy disturbance, a benevolent rage, a revolutionary love, protesting, urging, insisting, that which is sacred will not be defiled. Those who bless the world live their life as a gesture of thanks for this beauty and this rage. We are grateful, she says, for the beauty and the rage. My faith leads me to live here in the world, to turn my attention to loving it, to living in the body, not transcending it, not wandering through as if it were all an illusion. Wanting to make it better while we are here. I think we Unitarian Universalists are called to bless the world. Ours is not an otherworldly faith. It is a this-worldly faith. Most people use the word bless to mean send good wishes. The I Ching says to bless means to help. The Hebrew for blessing, barek, means to draw God down into a thing, a person, or a situation, to expand it with the holy, to saturate it with the divine. This world can break your heart. Time will break your body. We can choose to bless and not to curse with all the powers left to us. We can bless the world by praying, by saying blessings, by loving, by working to make things better, by writing checks, depending on your situations. and depending on the calling of your soul. We're going to take a little time, just a little time, bless the person on your right, and then on your left. Think good thoughts, wish good things, pray for them by holding them in light or wrapping them in sacred dark, or however you do it. Just take a moment. Let me close with part of a poem by Marge Piercy. It's called The Art of Blessing the Day. But the discipline of blessings is to taste each moment, the bitter, the sour, the sweet, and the salty, and be glad for what does not hurt. The art is in compressing attention to each little and big blossom of the tree of life, to let the tongue sing each fruit, its savor, its aroma, and its use. Attention is love, what we must give children, mothers, fathers, pets, our friends, the news, the woes of others. What we want to change, we curse and then pick up a tool. Bless whatever you can with eyes and hands and tongue. And if you can't bless it, get ready to make it new. May it be so. Go in peace, gentle people.
We have one more hymn. We'll build a land.
No matter how weak or how frightened we may feel, we each have gifts that can make a difference in the world. In this coming week, may you do at least one thing to support the broken, to welcome the stranger, to celebrate what is worthy, to do the work of justice and love. Be strong. Be connected. Each day act so you may be a little more whole. Go in peace.
I'd like to play something called La Réjouissance, which means rejoice.